Hi everybody, Matt here from Matt Likes Comics. Before I get into today's topic, I just want to say a big thank you out there to all the comic community people. You guys are amazing, and thank you very much for being who you are. I am having a lot of fun watching your videos. I am having a lot of fun digesting your videos in terms of the information received. And most importantly, I'm having fun watching the passion and love that everybody in the hobby is seeming to is showing with regards to the hobby itself. It's really great to see this all wonderful stuff out there. Now, today's video is a member requested video by Jeff Jack, and we're here to do that video for him. He requested a video about the Lois Lane robot that appeared in Action Comics 890 to 899. And basically, she made 13 appearances overall. So I managed to track down the one missing appearance that I had, and now that I have it, I can do the full run of the series of Lois Lane robot. This, of course, is a part of Action Comics from 890 to 899, where Lex Luthor was the main character of the book, and not Superman. One of the main characters of this arc is the Lois Lane robot. During the quest for power that he lost in Blackest Night, Lex Luthor basically takes a Brainiac probe that he stored at LexCorp, and he took a sample of Lois's DNA, creating a robotic version of her to serve as his conscience. Before the programming is complete, though, Luthor is held hostage by bandits controlled by Mr. Mind and is put into a mental illusion. The Lois robot activates its weapon systems and defeats the thugs and brings Luthor back to safety. Soon after, traces of the Black Ring energy are found in the Antarctic. I had to see me and my writing again. The Lois bot, Luthor, Deathstroke, and LexCorp scientists go and find these black orb. Now, the black orb is going to be central to the whole storyline. The black orbs are made from energy left over from the Black Rings from the Blackest Night. This is a Blackest Night aftermath. Soon after the traces are found, Luthor, Deathstroke, and the scientists end up blacking out and fighting each other. Lois is the Lois robot is the only one not to be affected by this because she, of course, is not human, not an organic. The known powers of the robot, and by the way, there's more detail coming up in the stories as I show the books. The known powers of the Lois robot is that it's able to self-repair, super strength, super durability, super timing. I was being facetious. That's super timing, flight, metamorphosis, and electrokinesis. Her weaponry, known weapons, there's automatic machine gun and a mini torpedoes. So her 12 appearances were in Action 890 to 899. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, that's 11 of the 12 appearances. I said 13, I should mean 12. There's only 12. 11 appearances in Action Comics. And from 890 to 900. Action Annual 13. Oh, I was wrong. There is 13 appearances. Action Annual 13 and The Secret Six, Volume 1, 29. I have them all here. Now, the storylines are pretty simple. Luthor used to have an orange power ring in the Blackest Night and Brightest Day. He lost it. And he felt so powerful with the ring, he wants to get the power back. Once he discovers these orbs are around, he goes on a quest to try and find them all. And this basically storyline is his quest. So let us begin here with Action Comics 890. Now I've tried to put everything in order. This is The Black Ring Part 1, covers by David Finch, Joe Weems, Peter Steigerwald, the way I wrote it here at the Stingy Man. And it's written by Paul Cornell, and the art in serial is done by Pete Woods, both inks and pencils. This is the beginning and the first appearance of the Lois robot. It's the beginning of the story. And this has several variant covers. I got, as far as I'm concerned, the coolest one of him in the orange aura. Next up, 891, The Black Ring Part 2. The covers by David Finch alone. Written by Paul Cornell. Art by Pete Woods. This is the second part of the story. Now, there's a lot of details to this story, which I'm not going to give for the simple reason is I want you to fully read this. The request was mostly about the Lois robot, because he was curious about the robot. So I'm giving things in terms of the details of the robot for the request, but everybody should read these books. 892, which is The Black Ring Part 3, covered by David Finch, Joel Weems, and Peter Steigerwald, and written by Paul Cornell, and art is done by, the pencils are done by Pete Woods, and the ink is done by Per Perez. In this book, Gorilla Grodd makes an appearance. And then we come to 893, The Black Ring Part 4, and it's one of my favorite things, DC Gorilla cover with Gorilla Grodd on the cover. Cover by David Finch, Richard Friend, and Peter Steigerwald. Where it's written by Paul Cornell, pencils by Sean Chen, and inks by Wayne Fauché, or Foucher. I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced. But the storyline moves to Africa, where they fight Grodd. Grodd shoots Luthor, killing him. The book also features the first appearance in the second story, the Jimmy Olsen story. This book has the first appearance of Chloe Sullivan in comics. They took her from the Smallville show and gave her a comic thing. So this is actually a minor key with the first appearance of Chloe Sullivan. $8.94. The Black Ring Part 5, covered by David Finch, Matt Banning, and Peter Steigerwald, written by Paul Cornell, and art by Pete Woods. Death visits a spectral Luthor, then tells him that he isn't dead yet. Vandal Savage is now a part of the story. And this is a minor key because everybody likes to collect covers of this particular version of Death. She is very, very, very popular. And this cover actually commands a slight premium. $8.95. The Black Ring Part 6. Cover by David Finch, Matt Banning, and Peter Steigerwald. Written by Paul Cornell as well. And the art is done by Pete Woods. The Secret Six are summoned to fight Vandal Savage with Luthor after Vandal takes a bunch of hostages at LexCorp. This here is Action Comics 896, featuring the Secret Six, where the fight continues and the story carries on to Secret 629. This book is covered by Matt Banning, David Finch, and Peter Steigerwald, while it's written by Paul Cornell, and the art is by Pete Woods. Pete Woods. We now have, by the way, this is from 2000. The books are from, I realize I didn't mention the dates. The books are from August 2010, and they go to almost a full year to to June 2011. To June 2011, which is pretty cool. Not a, Before we get to the next part, though, this is where Action Comics Annual 13 comes in. The robot is here, and this is a really cool cover of Darkseid holding Luthor. And basically, this is a story where Darkseid rules and leads Luthor, and Ra's al Ghul is in this issue. As it says right there, Ra's al Ghul. So that's a pretty cool one there. So we get to Secret 629. What Luthor Has Wrought is the name, and the cover is by Daniel Luvisi. And it's written by Gail Simone, pencils by Marcus Martz, and the inks are by Luciana Del Negro. And that means, of course, we get to go see now issue 897. We're back to the main storyline of the Black Ring Part 8. This month, by the way, which was March 2011, all the covers look like this to every DC book. Unless, of course, there was a variant. The cover is by David Finch, Mark Rosland, and Peter Steigerwald. Written by Paul Cornell, art by Pete Woods. The Joker now appears in this issue, as well as the Orange Lantern Larfleeze. Now, Larfleeze, of course, is a character that was created during the, Blackest Night, Brightest Day thing. It's the original Orange Lantern. And it was his ring originally that Luthor had gotten, but Larfleeze got it back. And in this issue, 898, Action Comics, it is the Luthor versus Larfleeze rematch. Basically, they are getting near the end of the quest, and we find out that in this book that the Lois bot has actually been working for Brainiac the whole time. Bringing us to issue 899 of Action Comics, The Black Ring Part 10, cover by David Finch, Ryan Wynn, Peter Steigerwald, written by Paul Cornell, and the art is done by Jesus Marino. Brainiac shows up while Luthor and Lois Bot are in outer space. Brainiac steals all the Black Spears. And it turns out that Mr. Mind was really in charge. The book ends with Luthor being given godlike power levels. Trust me when I say this story has turns and twists that manage to find a way to get every single major villain they can into the storyline. It is pretty cool. And the story concludes in this book. Action Comics 900, for obvious reasons, is a key. Action Comics 900 is 96 pages. And basically, this is the Black Ring finale, covered by David Finch. Written by Paul Cornell. Pencils were done by Pete Woods, Gary Frank, Jamal Igla, Dan Jurgens, Jesus Marino, Rags Morales, and Adrian Syaf. Inks were done by Pete Woods, Gary Frank, Jesus Marino, Rags Morales, Norm Rapamund, John Sybil, and Adrian Syaf. Superman and Doomsday appear, and during this story, Luthor realizes that Superman is Clark Kent. Luthor begins the reign of the Doomsdays, which is the next storyline in the thing. Lois Bot is no longer involved with it, which is why I end with this one. The reign of the Doomsdays goes on for 4 more issues, plus a couple of specials, and it's in one of the Supergirl books, I believe, yes, one of the Supergirl books. These, of course, 904 was the last issue of Action Comics before the New 52 kicked in. So this was the last real major Luther storylines of the new before the New 52. So, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe below. Please tell me if you've read this storyline and what you think about this. Please tell me if you haven't, but you're interested in getting it. These books have been collected in two trade paperbacks, part 1 and part 2, and I believe that includes the Secret Six and the Action Comics annual. Actually, may not include the annual because it wasn't 100% part of it, but the source that I read said it did. Another source said no. Third one was vague, so I'm going with yes, it's there. If not, I'm sorry. So thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Matt. I like comics, and I hope you do too. Bye, everybody.